In this video, traders, we're going to look at 4 different types of derivatives. Stay tuned. Hey guys, warm welcome to you. All right, so 4 different types of derivatives. Let's go. Number 1, options. So an option contract, and by the way, if you like options, you want to get deep dive into them, I've done a series of videos that talks about calls, talks about puts, talks about different spreads you can do, different strategies and stuff. So go and check that out if it floats your boat. However, if you just want a kind of quick overview, this is it. An option is the right but not the obligation. In other words, if I'm buying a call option, I am buying the right but not the obligation to buy a specific asset at a specific price at a specific point in time in the future. Easy to do an example. So let's say we've got a $50 call with a September expiry, and it's on let's say ABC commodity or stock, doesn't matter. What that means is I am buying a contract which gives me the right to buy ABC for $50 at expiry time of September, whatever date that may be. So if it obviously goes above $50, then I'm going to exercise it. If it doesn't, then because I don't have the obligation, I don't have to exercise it. If that price for ABC is $45 in September, contract's worthless. Similarly, I can do a put, which is the other way around, which is basically the right, but not the obligation to sell ABC at $50. And we can buy calls or sell calls, buy puts or sell puts, but that's kind of something for a more in-depth video. I'm going to check that out, like I say, if you're interested in that. So that's an options contract. The other one, which you're probably familiar with, is a futures contract. So a futures contract is a bet on future prices, pretty much giveaway with the actual name of the contract, right? So what that means is, okay, this is predominantly used for hedging. Yes, people speculate, and us guys speculate on it as well, but the predominant reason for futures was to hedge exposure. Example, Kellogg's may well be buying corn and they want to guarantee that they can buy corn at a future price, in the future at a specific price. So let's say I'm going to pluck this figure out of the air. They want to pay $2 for however many bushels of corn it is. I can't remember the units off the top of my head when trading corn, but hey, let's say they want to lock in that price in December. So they will buy that futures contract, and that basically means that in December, that's what they're paying for that amount of corn. And if they want to, they can hold the contract for delivery, and the seller of that contract has to deliver that corn at that price with that specification. Now, futures contracts are traded on an exchange. So there's a specific kind of benchmark, if you like, for the asset, a standardized quantity and quality of the asset. So corn would have to be a specific grade of a specific, or whatever it is for corn, and delivered in a specific way, a specific place, and specific weight. So everyone knows what they're getting. It's all very standardized. So Kellogg's, in that example, would know what they're getting at the price they're getting, so they can lock in that price. A speculator might buy that and think, okay, well, it's going to go up in price, and that futures contract might go up in value, which will be good for Kellogg's, right? Because all of a sudden they've locked it in at $2, maybe it goes up to $3, but not so good for the seller. So the seller either going to have to sell it on to somebody else, the contract, or he's going to have to deliver that corn. He's like, I have to deliver that for $2 instead of I could have got $3. But that's the way it works with futures. But that might suit a farmer as well, right? You think about a farmer who's selling, he's happy to get $2 per whatever unit it is. It goes to 3, yes, he's lost some money, but he's still profitable at 2. He's not in the business of speculation, he's in the business of making the money from the farming. Same with Kellogg's, not really in the business of speculation on the price of corn, than the business of making cornflakes. So futures is a bet on future prices with a specified deliverable. However, if we look at forwards, they are OTC, i.e. they are off exchange contracts, completely non-standardized, and generally the agreement is within 2 parties. These are kind of bigger size deals that perhaps 2 banks would do, or a bank would do against a large company, but there's a non-standardized contract that's similar to futures, i.e. there's some kind of specification between them, but it's something that's not done on a central exchange like we see with futures, like S&P 500 futures, crude oil futures, natural gas, corn, etc. And the final thing is swaps. This is very, very customized contract, generally between 2 banks, or perhaps a government and a bank, or some big entity These became famous from the CDSs, right, which is the credit default swap. So you can buy a swap which basically protects you against a default in a specific country or company or whatever it may be. So you could buy a credit default swap against some bank where you're buying some kind of the swap basically says, well, if they default on my payment, then you will pay me out. And it's almost like an insurance, right? And they can do this against countries as well. So someone maybe is loaning a lot of money to a country that they think is a bit not that great. They might buy a credit default swap so that if they default on the credit, then these guys will pay out. So it's almost like an insurance policy. Again, these are very customized contracts, very specific, all kind of ironed out over a boardroom and in specific detail, and of course the lawyers will be involved in everything, but non-standardized, again, very specific, very customized to the buyer and the seller's requirements, or generally the buyer's requirements, and the seller, who's in the business of providing those, will kind of adjust it and tweak it and go, well, those are your requirements, this is the price. So they'll probably agree with most of the requirements, but obviously if some of them are a little bit dangerous, the price will go up, and they say, well, if you want that requirement, then the price goes up because of it. If you don't, we can remove that and the price goes down. You get the idea. It's just like buying insurance premium, right, for your car. If you want to have this cover, you want to have that cover, you're going to pay through the roof for it. If you want to have a basic cover, then the price is the price. So anyway, guys, those are 4 different types of derivatives: options, futures, forwards, and swaps. Take care, whatever you're trading. Bye-bye.